So you're a model. You're the type to do the runways, take all these photos, fashion, swimwear. You even went out of your comfort zone and did some lingerie, even though you didn't think you may look right in it. Well, what's stopping you from being published? What's stopping you from finding an agent, a major model or talent agent? What's stopping you from being in shows in Milan and Paris and Tokyo and even in New York? Could it be you? Could it be some of the decisions you're making? Maybe you're blacklisted. Maybe there's something you don't know. Or maybe there's something you think you do know. Or you've heard some type of rumor from a jealous photographer or even a jealous model who may be jealous of you. Are you the reason why you're sabotaging your success in modeling? Sit back and think. Have you done some decisions you would have done different? And are you still doing similar decisions? Are you listening to the wrong people? Or are you listening to the right people too much? Are you telling yourself negative things? Like, what's going on? Or again, maybe you're blacklisted. Maybe you've listened to the wrong photographer. This tells you silly things like, hey, only work with me. When in some cases, or I would say most cases, you may want to work with a few different photographers to see how their talent or their eyes and their perception or perspective or vantage point in looking at you and how they can present you to the world. Have you listened to that photographer and that made it biased in your selection of your photos, the quality of your photos? Did you listen to your girlfriend who also models and you trust her? You may not trust her with your life, but you're trusting her with your life goals, your lifestyle, your dream. And you're having her select other photographers. No, I'm not I wouldn't say jilted photographer. No, I'm not a disgruntled photographer. I do more than photography. I've just noticed, from hearing things, and not even necessarily negative about me, and some, when you're doing your thing, there's going to be a lot said about you. But I've noticed the decisions that people make aren't even their decisions. Now that is something you can't say someone is hating on you for pointing out. Are you sabotaging your success in anything, but in particularly modeling? It's a very cutthroat. You're dealing with a lot of other catty emotions. Men can be catty as well. And if you are the type to not have a certain type of cunning spirit about yourself and realize that sometimes things are taken with a grain of salt and sometimes you have to feed people with a long spoon, you may be blacklisted. It may be a group of people who can help you who also talk, and maybe they listen to the wrong people as well. But the difference is those photographers can survive doing weddings, doing events, bat mitzvahs, other celebrations, celebratory type of things, or just plainly do other things. But when you're modeling, it's a little bit more, it's a little difficult. It's a different side of the coin. You have to be a little bit more concerned about how you present yourself and what you listen to. Because if you become blacklisted if you're blacklisted with the right people, or even the people who may be able to nudge you up the ladder a little bit, that's not a good thing, because what you'll have is a bunch of friends at the bottom. So just step back and say, hey, try to find out. Are you just working with the same circle of people and wondering, how come I'm not advancing? Does that even make sense? Have you listened to somebody who said something about someone, but you don't know for a fact if that to be true? Or if that would be true with you? Because from what I know, there are photographers that do adjust their attitudes a little bit different with different people. Okay? As sometimes you should. You shouldn't treat everybody the same, because then no one would have privileges. Who would be your best friend? Who would be your favorite photographer? You know where I'm going. At the end of the day, you have to say, have I been listening to the wrong people? Most people have been listening to the wrong people if they're not getting what they want. Sometimes it comes down to that. You've been doing the wrong decision. That's obvious. And with the wrong energy and with the wrong attitude. There's certain people. I know for a fact that there has been certain people I haven't worked with in all lines of work and communication, just strictly on something they may have said, that I felt that trust couldn't be connected, whether from me or whether from them. So saying that's to say that if you get contaminated and you speak to the wrong person and it pollutes your brain, and you say something a little bit sideways or treat someone a little bit too cautious or some type of way, I'm just saying you do have to be careful. There's a lot of different people out here in all walks of life. But where are you getting your information from? It's just something I noticed. Like I said, I'm not really concerned about that happening with me or about me, but it's just something I noticed, and that could slow you down deeply. The misinformation slows you down more than anything. Knowledge can be deadly. Too much knowledge, the wrong knowledge, thinking you know something, the wrong communication could get you in a lot of problems. Okay? It could get you in a lot of problems. I mean, maybe take what they say and then, take heed to it. But also, are you sabotaging yourself by just doing the wrong decisions? Like maybe you're in the industry that you're not supposed to be in, if you're not willing to put the work in. Now, besides listening to people, are you doing certain decisions based off of what someone else looks like they got away with? You don't know. You don't know who they know and why and how it happened. They may even pay for certain positioning. But that's a whole nother conversation. Just sit back and stop and say to yourself, am I blacklisting myself? Not just sabotaging, but blacklisting. Because the photographer, the media, the medium, the advertisers, the advertising agencies, and the publishers do have power. That's a mistake. Nowadays, models feel as though they're the only ones that's on the pedestal at times. And maybe at times they are. But the photographer and other people you work with have a value as well. And are they blacklisting you? Step back. Who are you listening to? What are you doing? Are you sabotaging your success? Are you blacklisted?